Hello, welcome to our live chat today on this Wednesday morning. I apologise first of all if the screen is a little bit dark. I can't seem to use my GoPro at this second, so I have to deal with the laptop's camera, which isn't as good, but hey, we're here. Doesn't matter, does it? As long as we can learn about these flexibility tips today. So if you are watching, say hi, let me know who's here with me. And as I said, today we're going to be talking about 3 flexibility tips that you may not know. 3 things that can really help you to gain flexibility in your yoga practice. If you are watching on the replay, let me know as well. Say hi, interact with me like you're watching live, and we're going to jump straight into it today. So, as you know, I am Leah from Lakora Yoga, and I tend to help people improve their yoga poses. So gaining flexibility and helping beginners figure out how to move their body to improve their physical health, which improves their mental health. So if you haven't seen me before, give me a follow. Let me know that you're here, and we're going to get started with tip number 1. So tip number 1 is, where's my notes gone? My notes have disappeared. I wrote these down before because I thought I know what happens when I get live. I just my mind starts blanking. So tip number 1 is to make sure that you're working on the fascia and the joints as well. So what can happen is when we're focusing on working on our flexibility and lengthening through the muscles, sometimes the muscles can kind of get to the maximum range before everything else around it can expand as well. So we need to also work on the fascia, which is basically, if you don't know what fascia is, it's everything in between the bones, the joints, the tendons, the muscles, everything in between that, like the fleshy part, as you would probably imagine it, inside. So that can also get stiff. So if you're not working on lengthening through the fascia as well, then that's going to restrict your range of motion. Because you can imagine, can't you, if that is tight, but you're trying to lengthen your muscles, you need to get deep into the fascia as well and into the other parts around your body, okay? We don't just have a muscle in here, we have other things as well. So we need to, obviously I'm not just talking about arms, can apply to anything, but we need to loosen everything inside. So how can you do that? If anyone's watching live, comment. How do you think you can get deep into the fascia and everything else? Obviously, yoga and stretching can help that, because as you stretch, you are also going to be stretching the fascia as well. That's my first tip. Make sure that you're not just focusing on the muscles and you're focusing on the whole body. So really get deep into the tissues. And you can even do this yourself by, I'm just imagining it's just easier to hold up my arm than anything else. But, give yourself a massage. Just rub the muscles, in your arms, and you will notice a difference. And you can probably, even when you do that, you can probably feel if there's any tension or anything in there as well. So it's a great way to get to know your body and see where you are tight. So that's my first one. My first one is work into the fascia inside the body. So acupuncture balls, foam rollering, deep tissue massage, anything like that where you can get deeper into it is going to help you gain flexibility. The second tip that I have for you today is your breath. Now, breathing, as we know, is so important. We wouldn't be here if we weren't breathing. But in your yoga practice, you need to focus a little bit more attention on your breath if you're trying to work on your flexibility. If you want to gain flexibility, you need your body to relax so that your muscles can lengthen. If you are panicking, if something, which happens a lot, especially if something feels really uncomfortable, say for example you're trying to get the splits and you've never done that before, it's tough on your body, you're really struggling, it's hurting, you don't want to be there, what's going to happen to your body? Your body is going to go into fight or flight, it's going to start tensing up, and that is not going to relax the muscles. So you need to make sure that when you're holding a deep stretch, that you are breathing through it. So take a long inhale and an even longer exhale, because that sends a signal to your brain to slow down, to calm down, and helps you to lengthen the muscles. It makes your body go into the parasympathetic nervous system to calm it down, to relax you so that it can lengthen. Okay, so that's tip number 2. Make sure that you're breathing correct. And if you're unsure whether you are doing this right, when you're in the pose, really focus in. Check if your heart rate is starting to beat faster. Check if your breath is quickening. That's good signs that you're either pushing it too far or you're not relaxing enough. So make sure that you then slow it down, start breathing through it, long inhales, long exhales. And another tip with the breath here is to breathe in for a count of 4 and then breathe out for a count of 6. Or you can even lengthen that. So breathe in for a count of 6 and exhale for 8. So what that means is you breathe in and you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4. You exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a great way to lengthen the exhale and really get deep into the muscles. So another little, this isn't tip number 3, this is carry on from tip number 2, but another little thing that you can do here is also have fun with it. Because again, if you're not having fun and you're just pushing yourself through, your body is not going to be relaxing. When we have fun, when we laugh, when we smile, our body relaxes, and that can help you again to lengthen. So, have a little laugh if you fall out of things, make some funny noises, just do your best to relax as much as you can in these poses. Okay, so that's tip number 2. If anybody has any questions as we go through this, by the way, let me know in the comments. So tip number 3 is to try different styles. So there's different styles of stretching. And when we're trying to gain flexibility, you will probably, depending on what kind of yoga class you're going to, they'll probably go through one style. But if you are trying to gain flexibility, you need to do a couple of different things, right? So first off, we've already said 2 of the things, okay? So we need to work deep into the tissues. So that could be foam rollering, acupuncture balls, massage, anything like that to help get into it, and your breath. So breathing, make sure that you exaggerate that exhale so that your body can relax. So depending on obviously what class you go to, depends on what kind of style you're going to be doing. So you can hold the poses. Static stretching. So staying still in the stretch to lengthen the muscles and relax. If you're in a static stretch, make sure that you're breathing and you're relaxing, because as I said, you start panicking and tensing, your muscles are not going to lengthen. So static stretching is what I would call kind of like yin yoga, where you are holding the poses for a long period of time to help gain that flexibility. You're relaxing into it and eventually it starts getting longer and longer and you start to feel a difference. Now obviously you still need to be consistent with this. You still need to be doing this daily to actually see the results. The other kind of stretching is dynamic stretching. So this is where we're moving. So if you imagine, let me give you an example here. We'll do butterfly pose, where you're sat and you've got the soles of your feet together and your knees are out long. I'm just imagining that my hands are my feet right now. Okay, so if you were doing static stretching, you would hold it here and stay still and then slowly relax deeper into it. So maybe your back starts rounding and you come down. Dynamic would be to bounce the knees. Okay, so what that does, that's really hard to do with my hands. What that does is it helps you to get further than you normally would in the stretch. Okay, so when you're bouncing, you've got that effort to get your knees open a little bit more. So it's a great way to go slightly past what you're comfortable with, but that's going to train your muscles to know that it can go there. So you need both of these things in your practice to really help with your flexibility. So static stretching, staying still. You need dynamic stretching, a little bit of movement, like bouncing it, pushing it a little bit further past the edge. Another great thing is strength. You cannot keep lengthening your muscles and expect your body to stay safe if you do not strengthen them as well. Okay, so that's how we prevent injuries. And a great way to think about this is think of your opposite muscle. So again, I will give you an example here. Say we're lengthening our whole back body, okay, because we're trying to get our forward fold, we're trying to touch our toes. So you're leaning forward, you're trying to touch your toes, you're lengthening all through the back body. Now, to stop any pain and injury here, what we want to do is strengthen the front body. Okay, so the front body is crunching as we are folding forward. So if we can bring some muscle strength into the front body, it's going to help to tense things up and keep it safe. And a great way that I've explained this one before that everybody seemed to understand is an elastic band, or say like a hairband. If you're stretching and it's getting longer and longer, eventually it's going to snap, right? But if it's strong, it's just going to come back to how it should. Okay, so strength is a very important thing. Okay, that's our 3 tips today. So just quickly, fascia, get into the deep tissue. Second thing was breath. Make sure that you're breathing, really exaggerate the exhale. Tip number 3 is do different kinds of stretching, static, dynamic, and strength building as well. So that's it for today. Thank you so much. I hope that these tips become useful. Make sure that you really focus on this the next time you do a yoga class. You know, have these tips in the back of your mind so that you can improve your yoga practice and improve your physical yoga poses. Thank you so much for watching. If you are brand new to yoga, like completely new, and you would like to learn a little bit more, then check out Lakora Beginners. I've got a brand new beginners course that's available, and I know I'm a bit biased, but it is absolutely amazing. It's talks, exercises and classes to help you start your yoga practice. So we've got 6 beginner yoga classes with talks to explain, you know, what yoga is, why we do it, the benefits of it, a little bit of talk about yoga lingo, because, you know, sometimes yoga teachers can say things and you're like, what on earth are they talking about? So go and check that out. The link is in the comments on Facebook, on Instagram, the link is in my bio, and I will see you all next week for our next chat. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you later.